Welcome. Today we are going to take a look on standard form of large numbers and small numbers. It is very important when numbers become large and very small. Okay. So the objectives of this lesson are by the end of it, you are going to be able to define and identify numbers in standard form. Okay. So you are going to define what is standard form, then identify if a number is in standard form or not. Okay. Then the other thing is you are going to convert large and small numbers to and from standard form. Given a number in standard form or in ordinary form, you're going to be able to convert it between them. Then the third is going to perform basic operations like multiplication, division using standard form. Okay, given numbers in standard form, you're going to perform these basic operations. Okay, so stay in touch so that you can be able to get a new knowledge on standard form. Let's start by knowing what is standard form. Okay, so our introduction is going by knowing what is standard form. Okay, standard form is also called scientific notation. Okay, it is a way of writing very large and very small numbers using the powers of 10. Okay, so this is the definition. Let me show you what it does. It means that if you are given a large number, let's say you are given a large number, it is a way of writing in powers of 10. Okay, so you are writing a large number as in this form a times 10 to the power n. Okay, so this is the way to write the number. This is the way of writing standard form. Okay, so let me explain more. Okay, so this number a, it has to be between 1 and 10. Okay, the 10 is not included, but 1 is included. Okay, it can be 1 or less than 10, any number between these numbers. Okay, so we can write it as in this form. Okay, this number can be this one. Okay, so this means that 1 is included, but 10 is not included. Okay, so if this a has to be between these numbers, then this n is an integer. Okay, okay, this means that it can take any number 1, 2, 3, and so on and so on. Then it can take -1, -2, -3. Okay, you see how. Okay, so if you express a number in this form, given any number, if you express it in this form, where this number is between 1 and 10, 1 included, then this number is any integer. You can say that you've successfully expressed the number as a standard form. First, let's look at a standard form for large numbers. Okay, so you have to remember that when a number is being said it is in standard form, it has to be a times 10 to the power n, and this a has to be from 1 to 10. Okay, so this 10 is not included. Okay, so when this is standard form for large numbers, n should be a positive number. Okay, so this is how you know that it is for a large number. Okay, so given a large number, let's say you are given 29 million. Okay, you are given 29 million, this number. Okay, if you want to express it as a standard form, you are given 29 million, you want to express it as a standard form, what you do is you make sure that this number is between 1 and 10. Okay, how can you do that? We put the comma here, right? The comma was here and you put it here, so it becomes 2,9. Okay, so this is how we do it. You just put the comma here, make sure that this number is between 1 and 10. Then you count the, the movement of comma. Comma was supposed to be here, right? So this means that it has moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this means that we are going to write times 10 to the power 7. Okay, so this is what we call a standard form for large numbers. Given this number, make sure the number is between, this a is between 1 and 10. Then the next thing is you have to count the movement of comma from the position it was to the new position to the right, right? And if you see that this one, then you just write the number of movement as the power. Okay, so this is how we do standard form for large numbers. Okay, so if you practice more numbers, you're going to be able to change many numbers into standard form when they are large, and you can easily change them from this to this side. Okay, we are going to do another example, so stay here. Now let's talk about standard form for small numbers. Okay, so we still have to remember that a standard form number is shown in this way, 10 to the power n. Okay, so this is a number in standard form. Okay, this a still has to be from 1 to 10. Okay, 1 is included, but 10 is not included. Okay, so how do you do that when it's for small numbers? Okay, for small numbers, n, the value of n has to be negative. Okay, for very small numbers. Okay, so let me see how do you do that. Let's say you are given a number 0,00027. Okay, you are being asked to express it in standard form. Okay, so how do you do that? The comma is here. You just have to move it to make sure that the number become from 1 to 10. Okay, so in this case you can see here we have 27. Okay, so we can make it 2,7 to become this one. Okay, so we put comma here. This means that our number becomes 2.7. Okay, now we just have to check how many steps did the comma move. Okay, here it moves from 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can see that it moves 4 steps, meaning that our number becomes times 10 to the power 4. Okay, but in this case, because the comma moved to the right, this means that you are going to put negative here. In the last scenario, we saw that the comma moved to the left, so we put positive. In this case, we are going to put negative. Okay, so this is the same number here in standard form. Okay, so this is how we express a number from ordinary form. This is called ordinary form to a standard form. Let's look on our last concepts, which are conversions and operations. Okay, so the first one here is to convert a number from standard form back to ordinary form. Okay, so we are going to do one example for a large number and one example for a small number. Okay, let's say I are given a large number, which is 4.1 times 10, 4.1 times 10 to the power 4. Okay, so you are being asked to change this number to ordinary form. It is in standard form, right? So you're going to change it to ordinary form. Okay, so how do we do that? We take this number 4, 1 without the comma. Okay, so now we just have to count from the position where the comma was, then count 4 steps this number. Then here we can see the comma was here. We're counting 4 steps going this side. Okay, this means that we are going to count from here, which means 1. And when there is no number, we just put 0. This means that it's going to be 4, comma was supposed to be here. Okay, let me write that in. Comma was supposed to be here. Okay, so this means that we are going to go on and count here. When there is no number, we're going to put 0. Okay, so here we're going to count 1 step, then there is no number here, then put 0, 2, 3, 4. There is no number here, 0, 0. Okay, so this means that our number is going to change to be 4, 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so this is 4.1 times 10 to the power 4. Okay, let me show you how to change when there is a small number. Okay, when it is a small number, let's say you are given 2.3 times 10 to the power negative 3. Okay, so you are being asked to change this number back to ordinary form. Okay, so what you do is you write this number 2. When you saw the negative, try to write this number very far here. Okay, then you know the position of the comma. Okay, the comma is here in this case. Okay, so you're going to move it 3 steps to the left. You will see there is negative here. Okay, so you're going to move it 3 steps to the left. Okay, so this means that here you're going to say 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when there is no number, you're going to put 0. Here you're going to put 0, 0. This means that there is a comma here when there is no number here. Okay, so this means that this number 2.3 times 10 to the power minus 3 in ordinary form is going to be 0.0023. Okay, so this is how we do it. This is how we convert a number back from standard form to ordinary form. You just have to move comma. If it's a big number, if it's a positive, you're moving the comma to the right. If it's a negative number, you're moving the comma to the left. Okay, let's go on. See how do you multiply in standard form. Okay, so let's say you're given 2 numbers in standard form. Let's say you're given 3 times 10 to the power 4 is being multiplied by 2 times 10 to the power 5. Okay, so what you do is you multiply these numbers. Okay, this a, okay, you remember this form, right? Okay, you multiply these a's. 3 times 2, you get 6. Then you say times 10 to the power. Okay, then here you're going to take this 4 and add it with this 5. So it's 4 plus 5 becomes 9. Okay, so this means that our answer becomes 6 times 10 to the power 9. Okay, so this is how we multiply numbers in standard form. You just multiply these numbers, which are a's. Okay, multiply the a's, then you times 10 to the power, then you add the powers of the numbers. Okay, so this is how we do it. Okay, let's see how do we divide here. Let's say you're given a number. Let's say in this case you're given 9 times 10 to the power 6. Okay, is being divided by another number, which is in this case is 3 times 10 to the power 2. Okay, so what you do is you check, you divide these numbers. 9 divided by 3, you first do that. You first divide these a's. Okay, this is in this case you see 9 divided by 3 is 3, then times 10 to the power. Then in the other case you are going to in this case we are adding these numbers. Now we are going to be subtracting this number. 6 minus 2, how do we get? We get minus 4. Okay, so this is going to be our answer. Okay, just in this multiplication you're going to add these powers. In this division you're going to subtract these powers. Okay, but this is you do the same. Here you divide, here you just multiply. Okay, so this is how we deal with conversions and operations. You see how we converted a number back to ordinary number from standard form, then we multiply the two numbers in standard form, then we divide two numbers in standard form. Now let's do some quick examples. Here we have three examples. Okay, so let's go through them in a fast way. Okay, so the first thing is the first example says that convert this number 0.00027 to standard form. Okay, so the only thing you are going to do is you are going to move the comma. You just have to make sure that this number, whole number, becomes between 1 and 10. Here to make it between 1 and 10 is going to be 2.7. Okay, this is the important part. You just have to make this number between 1 and 10, 1 included. Okay, so now you just have to see how many decimals do you have to move a comma to go to that place. Okay, so here we're starting from this position. We're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you can see that we've moved 4 steps. Okay, so this means that our answer is going to be times 10 to the power 4. Okay, so this is how we do it. The first thing you just have to make sure that this number is between 1 and 10. Then after that, you just have to move the comma to the new position and see how many steps you have moved and write 10 to the power 4. Okay, so in this case, you can see that here we are moving to the right. This means that this number, this is going to be negative 4. This is how we do it. Then it's easy. Okay, so let's go to the next one. It says convert 5.1 times 10 to the power 4 to ordinary number. Okay, so the first thing you just have to write this number without the comma. Now you just have to write 5, 1. Okay, this is how we do it. Now we have to count the decimal places here. We have 4 here, so we are going to count here from here going to the right. Okay, now we just have to move from here to going to the right. Okay, so now we just have to check how many decimal places are we supposed to move for. Okay, so we're moving from here. It becomes 1. Then to get our second number, we put 0. To get our third number, we put 0. Then to get our fourth number, we put 0. Okay, so this means that it's going to be the comma moved from here, right? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is the meaning of this 4. Okay, so this means that our answer is going to be 5, 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so this is going to be our answer. Okay, let's go to the next example. The next example says that multiply 3 times 10 to the power 2 times 4 times 10 to the power 3. Okay, so the first thing is you are going to multiply these integers. Okay, like I said, when you are multiplying, first multiply these a numbers. In this case, we have 3 and 4. 3 times 4 is going to get us 12. Okay, so how do we do that? Now we just have to times 10. Okay, now we just have to say 2 this power plus this power. Okay, so it becomes 5. Okay, so our answer becomes 12 times 10 to the power 5. Okay, but we can see that this number, this a number, is not between 1 and 10. Okay, it has to be between 1 and 10. Okay, this means that we just have to move the comma from here to become 1.2. Okay, so if we move the comma to the right, okay, if we move the comma, so if we move the comma to the left, this means that we are going to add 1 here. So this means that our answer is going to be 1.2 times 10 to the power 6. Okay, we added 1 here, we moved 1 step, we're going to add 1 here. Okay, so this is going to be our answer. Let me show you a trick that can help you to be able to change to master these conversions very fast. Okay, so let's say you are trying to make sure our number is going to be a times 10 to the power n. Okay, so this is a conversion to standard form. Okay, so what you're going to do is when you are changing from ordinary, okay, from ordinary to standard form, okay, if you are trying to make sure that this a is between 1 and 10. Okay, so if you move to the left, okay, if you move to the left, okay, if you move to the left, this means that you are going to get an n value with this plus. Okay, in trying to make sure that a is between 1 and 10, if you move to the right, okay, you're going to have n s minus. Okay, so this is how you master when you have these two. Okay, now if you are changing from standard to ordinary. Okay, so from standard to ordinary, if you have a power which is negative, this means that you're going to move to the left. Okay, if you have a power which is positive, this means that you're going to move to the right. Okay, so this is how you can master this conversion. You just know that from ordinary to standard, if I move to the left, this means that our n is plus. If I move to the right, this means that our n is negative. Then if you are changing from standard to ordinary, if your power is negative, this means that you are moving to the left, and if your power is positive, you're moving to the right. Okay, so master this, you can be able to master these conversions. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's make sure you are in touch so that you don't miss any we are going to upload here.